Welcome to Season 3 of the Languages Pedagogy Podcast, where language learning meets innovation, culture, and pedagogy. I'm Mike, your host, and together we'll explore groundbreaking strategies, challenge traditional methods, and empower educators and learners alike. So whether you're a teacher, a student, or a language enthusiast, get ready to dive into insightful discussions, expert interviews, and practical tools that will transform the way you teach and learn languages. So grab your headphones and let's get started. My wonderful listeners, welcome to another insightful and deeply researched episode of Languages Pedagogy Podcast. In this episode, we will take a deep dive into the science of memory and how language learners can optimize retention, recall, and mastery of new vocabulary and concepts. We will explore cognitive psychology, neuroscience, practical memory techniques, and real-world applications of memory enhancing strategies. If you ever struggle with forgetting words you just learned, or you want to retain a foreign language more effectively, this episode is tailored just for you. So let's embark on a profound journey through the mechanics of memory, effective language learning strategies, and powerful hacks that can make all the difference in your language acquisition journey. Let's get started. The science of memory and language learning. To understand how to enhance memory, we must first understand how memory works. Cognitive psychologists and neuroscientists categorize memory into three main types. 1. Sensory memory. This is the shortest term memory that retains impressions of sensory information, like hearing a new word, for a fraction of a second before it is either discarded or transferred to a short-term memory. Then we have the second one, short-term memory, or the working memory. Information held here is temporary. If we do not actively engage with the information, it is forgotten within seconds. Third, long-term memory. This is where deeply encoded information is stored, often permanently. To truly master a language, vocabulary and grammatical structures must move from STM to LTM. So what's the role of attention in memory? Attention plays a crucial role in determining what information gets encoded into long-term memory. When learners are distracted or disengaged, retention decreases dramatically. Mindful learning, where focus is fully dedicated to the languages or the language being acquired, can dramatically improve memory retention. What are the ways to improve attention in this case? Eliminate distractions. Study in a quiet, dedicated space. Use active engagement techniques, like writing, speaking, and interactive exercises help focus the brain. Practice mindfulness. Techniques like deep breathing before a study session can help clear the mind and increase concentration. Neuroplasticity and its role in language retention. Neuroplasticity is the brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections throughout life. This concept is crucial for language learners, as it means the more we practice and reinforce language structures specifically, the stronger and more efficient our brain becomes at processing the new language. The hippocampus, a region in the brain, is primarily responsible for consolidating short-term memories into long-term memories. The stronger and more meaningful the connections we make when learning a language, the more likely the hippocampus will store the information for long-term retrieval. Now, strategies to boost neuroplasticity in this case. First, consistent practice. Regular engagement in language learning strengthens neural pathways. 2. Engage multiple senses. Listening, speaking, writing, and reading reinforce learning from multiple angles. 3. Change up your learning methods. Variety in learning, such as switching between audiovisual and interactive techniques, helps the brain adapt and retain information. And 4. Healthy lifestyle choices. Proper sleep, exercise, and a nutritious diet all enhance brain plasticity and memory retention. Now, let's explore the methods that can boost neuroplasticity and help in language mastery. Proven memory hacks for language retention. First, the spaced repetition system, or SRS. Spaced repetition is one of the most scientifically validated ways to enhance memory. By reviewing information at increasing intervals, learners can significantly improve recall rates. How does it work? Instead of cramming your review vocabulary at optimal intervals, immediately after learning, a day later, a week later, then a month later, and so on. Best tools. Apps like Anki, Memrise, and Quizlet. Use this method. And here an example. If you learn 10 new words today, review them in 10 minutes, then in a day, then in 3 days, then in a week, and keep expanding the time frame. 2. Mnemonic devices and memory palaces. Mnemonics help convert abstract words into memorable visual or associative representations. Memory palace, a visualization technique where you assign vocabulary words to specific locations in a familiar setting. For example, placing la puerta at your front door to remember the Spanish word for door. Acronyms and acrostics. Example, for learning German modal verbs, create a funny sentence where each word starts with the first letter of the verb. Example application here. If learning French, you could visualize pomme, which is apple, as a big, shiny apple floating in front of the Eiffel Tower. 3. Chunking and contextual learning. Chunking means breaking down information into smaller, meaningful groups. How does it work? Instead of learning isolated words, group them into themes or sentences. Here's an example application. Learning adjectives? All right. Group them by category, emotions, color, size, etc. Instead of learning big, large, and huge, separately, learn them together. 4. Storytelling and narrative techniques. Humans remember stories better than isolated facts. How does it work? Create a short story using your target language vocabulary. Example application here. Instead of memorizing house, chair, window, create a mental story. A giant house had a magical chair by the window that granted wishes. Language learning is a marathon, not a sprint. I've been telling you this for some time already. By integrating these evidence-based memory hacks into your routine, you can significantly enhance your ability to retain and recall new vocabulary, whether using spaced repetition, storytelling, physical engagement, or sleep-boosted learning. Applying these techniques will accelerate your language mastery. To truly optimize retention and recall, consistency is key. Regular, intentional practice will lead to noticeable improvements in your ability to remember and use new language constructs fluently. And wait up a second. Before we're heading to the final part of this episode, I just want to remind you that new episodes drop every Monday and Friday. So make sure to tune in weekly for your dose of thought-provoking conversations. You can find our show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube. If you also have time, you can come and pay a visit to our website, MikeEnglishOnline.com, where you will find tons of resources for your daily learning or teaching. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and follow us for more. And thank you for joining me for this in-depth exploration of memory and language learning. If you found this episode helpful, share it with your friends, with other learners, and let's continue making language acquisition an exciting and rewarding journey. Until then, keep learning, stay curious, and embrace the power of learning.